Can conservatives and liberals actually be friends? Now, before someone tries to cancel me in the comments, no, I am not a political expert. This video is exclusively based on my own experiences, observations, and some research I found while trying to answer a very simple question. Can two people with different political beliefs still maintain a healthy friendship? Somewhere along the way, people stopped seeing each other as individuals and started seeing each other as political labels. Friendships, families, and relationships seem more divided than ever. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to introduce you to 4 different people. I'll show you exactly where they stand on a few trending topics such as immigration, social justice, and so much more. Your job is to figure out where they stand politically. Should be easy, right? Well, we'll find out. And your prize? A nice round of applause, because I'm not in the position to be giving away free stuff. When I was growing up, my friends and I disagreed on all kinds of things, including politics. Then 2020 happened, and whether you were paying attention to politics or not, it felt like everything changed. Suddenly, people weren't just disagreeing, they were cutting each other off. I saw friendships end. I saw family members stop talking to each other. I saw people publicly celebrating the collapse of relationships simply because they disagreed or didn't completely agree with everything. Hey, look, I'm not a big fan of certain rhetorics, but at the end of the day, this is kind of getting out of hand. At first, I thought it was temporary. I figured emotions were running high, people needed time, and things would eventually calm down. 6 years later? Not so sure. If anything, people seem more divided than ever before. According to recent surveys from a multitude of research centers, such as Change Research and the Pew Research Center, 65% of Americans describe politics as a significant source of stress. And at the same time, a growing number of Americans report dissatisfaction with both major political parties. Every political discussion I seem to witness follows the exact same pattern. People aren't trying to understand each other. They're trying to repeat the same talking points. Nobody listens. Nobody asks questions, and nobody tries to leave with a different perspective. God forbid you share one opinion that isn't too crazy, and all of a sudden you are a sexist, misogynistic, bigoted homophobe that hates the poor. Or some out-of-touch activist who spends way too much time online. So out of curiosity, I decided to do a little bit of research, and the results restored a little bit of hope in me. One report from Springtide Research back in 2024 found that more than 52% of young adults would befriend someone with different political beliefs. Nearly half of them believed political disagreements should be openly discussed, and 58 believe close relationships can survive political differences. Anyways, all these points perfectly describes my friendship with my best friend. We've been friends for over a decade, and while we're both somewhere in the political middle, we tend to disagree on almost everything. No, seriously, almost everything. A few years ago, we joked that our friendship was borderline toxic. But despite those disagreements, we're still the best of friends. Now why? Because politics isn't the foundation of a friendship. Shared experiences, common interests, and most importantly, mutual respect is. Politics is just one piece of a much bigger picture. I came across another study reported by SciPost back in 2025 that looked specifically at friendships between people with different political beliefs. And the findings were very interesting. People who maintained cross-political friendships were more likely to have open conversations without immediately judging each other, at least not to their face. And they were less likely to hold strong bias against people who disagreed. The bad news? Those friendships are uncommon, which brings me back to the challenge I mentioned earlier. I interviewed 4 different people and asked each of them where they stood on several major political issues. And I want to see how accurately you can identify their political affiliation from this exercise. And out of respect for these individuals, I have decided to leave their names out, and I will just refer to them as participant 1, 2, 3, and 4. The topics are as follows in this order: immigration, social justice, global warming, pro-choice, gun control, and whether they thought Trump is a good president. All right, so the first person's stance on immigration is anti. Their stance on social justice is neutral and added that these issues are not bothersome to them at all. Their stance on global warming is pro because this person is a proud environmentalist. When it comes to pro-choice or pro-abortion, use whatever euphemism you want. This participant said that they are anti to a certain point, but mostly anti. Their stance on gun control was pro, and when asked if Trump is a good president, this person shared they are somewhere in the middle because they liked what Trump was doing in the beginning, but is doing a little too much and things are now out of control. All right, now take a pause and make a guess as to what political affiliation this person is aligned with. Okay, hopefully you actually paused. If not, then please pause now and make an educated guess, or else the remainder of this video is going to be awkward, and do it for the next 3 people. But if you actually did pause, if you guessed moderate, you're absolutely correct. Now, to the next person. When asked about immigration, participant 2 shared that they are pro and added that the current system sucks. So cutting back would definitely help a bit and definitely anti-illegal immigration. When asked about social justice, this person shared that they are anti. When it came to global warming, they shared that they are anti because they believe global warming is a scam and people are exaggerating how bad it actually is. When it comes to pro-choice, participant 2 shared that they are anti. When it comes to gun control, anti. And when asked whether Trump is a good president or not, they responded, yes, Trump is a good president because he's addressing issues that Americans care about. A few examples that he shared are illegal immigration, the current economy, and going after liberal institutional movements. Now, take a brief pause and make an educated guess as to where this person is politically aligned. If you guessed conservative, then you're absolutely correct. Now, participant number 3. Okay, so when asked about their stance on immigration, participant 3 is very neutral. They believe immigration should follow a legal process and that there should be clear guardrails around asylum claims. This participant also feels that the current system may not be well managed. When it comes to social justice, this participant was very much pro. When it comes to global warming, they acknowledged that global change is happening, so I'm assuming they are pro. When it comes to pro-choice, this participant was very pro because they believe that individuals should have the ability to make their own decisions, especially if the system does not provide adequate support. When it comes to gun control, they said that they are neutral because they recognize the right to bear arms, but feel there isn't enough protection or enforcement around gun control. And whether participant 3 believed Trump was a good president, they're very neutral because they are unsure how to evaluate Trump. They acknowledge that Trump challenges social norms, but disagrees with his method of approach. Okay, now take a pause and make an educated guess. If you guessed moderate, then you're absolutely correct. And now for the last and final person. When asked about immigration, participant 4 was very pro, but doesn't understand why people are coming to America despite ICE. When it comes to social justice, they are very much pro, but recognizes when it is used as a means to an end. When asked about global warming, participant 4 believes in global warming. They also added that many ads fixing global warming are bullshit because a majority of the issues is on big corporations and the ultra wealthy. Quite the sense of humor, this one. They also believe the earth will bounce back, but that doesn't mean life will be sustainable at that time. When it comes to their stance on pro-choice, they are very much pro. And when asked about gun control, the response was neutral. Participant 4 believes regulations are good, but not an all or nothing situation. And when asked about Trump, no. Okay, now take a minute to guess. What political affiliation do you think participant 4 was aligned with? If you guessed left leaning or leftist, their words, not mine, then you are absolutely correct. Now that you have met all 4 people, let me ask you something. How many did you get right? And more importantly, how many assumptions did you make for each person? Because that's the lesson I keep coming back to. Politics isn't black and white. Most people don't fit neatly into political boxes. Someone might be pro-choice, but believe in stricter immigration policies. Someone else might support environmental protections and gun ownership. Someone else might agree with one political party on 5 issues and completely disagree with them on the next 5. Human beings are complicated, just like politics. It is complicated. And that's exactly why judging someone's entire character based on one political label often falls apart the moment you actually get to know them. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying you should become friends with everyone. If someone is hateful, abusive, extreme, or aligns with all the isms and the ists, that is a very different conversation. What I'm saying is give people the opportunity to show you their character before deciding who they are. From my personal experience, some of my closest friends are from people who didn't see the world exactly as I do. And that's okay. If it can happen for me, why can't it happen for you? Before I officially wrap up, I asked all 4 participants 2 additional questions. What do you think about the current political climate? And would you be friends with someone who carries different political beliefs? So, following the same order of people as before, participant one shared that the political climate is currently in complete turmoil and people are chaotic. People will be mad no matter what side you choose, so who cares? And when it comes to befriending someone with different political beliefs, they said that they would because at the end of the day, it's just opinions and people do shady things regardless of beliefs. When it comes to participant two, they said Democrats are turning more communist socialists and are doing unethical things to push their agenda. A few examples he provided were ICE protests and the reaction to Charlie Kirk's death a few months back, amongst a few other things. They also shared that true Americans need to stand their ground and Trump needs to continue what he's doing. When it comes to befriending people with different political beliefs, they said they would so long as people are nice about it. Participant 2 also shared they have befriended people who are not so nice and says that opposite opinions aren't bothersome to them. Participant 3 believes politics is chaotic and unstable and mentioned there is a lack of clear leadership, accountability, and actionable solutions. When it comes to befriending people who may disagree with them, Participant 3 shared that they are open to being friends with people who have different political beliefs under the condition that conversations are productive and that the other person is open minded. And last but not least, Participant 4, they said Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin jerking off corporations in each hand. Love the sense of humor. When it comes to befriending people of different political beliefs, they're open so long as you can have a conversation. And mentioned that the reason why people freak out on both sides is because they freak out over everything. Despite all four people having their fair share of disagreements, I noticed something interesting. Every single one of them thought something was broken. They just disagreed on what the solution was, which might be the most human thing imaginable. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this video, it's this. Stop treating politics like a personality test. Stop assuming people fit neatly into one category and stop disqualifying people from friendship before you actually get to know who they are. You don't have to agree with someone to respect them, and you definitely don't have to agree with someone on every issue to learn something from them. And that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and let me know in the comment section below. Would you be friends with someone who has different political beliefs? And how many of the 4 participants did you correctly identify? As always, keep it respectful. Politics may be important, but it shouldn't stop us from acting like decent human beings. Stay tuned for the next one. Until then.